Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day in which I sound pretty nasal to myself, so I don't know. It's been not so cold here, and it doesn't seem very chill outside today. It's very foggy and wet, in the Pacific Northwest, and I actually slept and then messed up my clock when my alarm went off this morning. So, thumbs up for that. Yay! Hopefully you have been able to sleep well, and hopefully you've had a good Saturday. And if you're watching this, on Sunday, the day after that Saturday, I'm smart. I can talk English. Hopefully your day has been good so far as well, or your weekend as well. And hey, front-loading of videos, if you could toss me a like, would be awesome. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be very cool. If you could leave me a comment, that would be double plus good. And I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These are literally beautiful and literally awesome people who help to keep myself and my pets alive. I don't have any hamsters right now. Hopefully soon. I love hamsters so much. If you would like to help me keep me and my pets alive, that would be very, very cool. I have links in the video description to the Patreon, as well as a PayPal for any possible donations, an Amazon wishlist link with stuff like pet food on it, and of course a post office box where if you send me anything at all, postcards, keychains, anything, I will show it off on video. Yay! Thumbs up for that. Front loading of videos over. Yeah, it's just been a day. Yesterday, of course, I had falling asleep troubles, so yay for that as well. But I did what I could do, and then I went out for walkies. I tried playing video games, and that's a good thing. Definitely a thumbs up. So cool. Now, there's a couple things I do want to talk about. One is I have for the game For Against Darkness, and this is, again, one of the things that really irritates me about the game. This has 3 supplements inside of it that I've printed out. The base game is $8, and the supplements are anywhere from like $3 to $10. So you have to spend a lot of money if you want to get any real good content for the game. That part bugs me. But at the same time, the content is mostly worth it, and the Warlike Woes supplement that I have introduces 2 concepts that I think are absolutely hysterical. Number 1, it adds new monster tables, new vermin tables, and one of the vermin tables has halflings on it, hobbits. And so when you beat up the hobbits and kill them, it introduces the rule that you discover you can break a hobbit down into rations, and if you eat enough rations, that heals hit points. Now, is it just hobbits that you can eat to heal hit points, or is it any monster you find that you can make into food and heal from eating by? That introduces some interesting concepts to it. So that's an interesting rule. The other one, boy, I don't get many people watching these, so even if I do get demonetized, I'm not going to lose out. But in modern role-playing game stuff, or like, the Dungeons and Dragons thing, which is a huge monolithic type thing, and for other games they make them for just generalized, if you role-play, here's information type books, but they deal with your characters, if you wish to explore this, your characters not just as murder hobos, but also deals with how they feel about and express their sexuality, who they are as people, and what they like to do. There are books that deal with this in very mature ways, because it's a heavy-duty subject, dealing with all of that, the expression, personal and between other characters. So they deal with this in a very delicate fashion. Warlike Woes takes a look at the subject and says, well, you want to bang the monsters? Okay, you can. And if you do, it takes about 10 minutes, during which time you roll for a wandering monster, and when you're done, you've healed a hit point. okay, we now have the rules. If you want to bang a monster, you can heal a hit point. And the monsters offer. You don't have to push it on them. This opens up so many cans of worms and so many weird opportunities. One of them, I read occasionally. I go back and binge what I miss because I don't read it like every week. There's a webcomic called Olaf. They deal with this sort of subject, except not in a serious fashion, just as goofy and silly and funny as possible. Sexuality and characters in a medieval fantasy type D&D type world. And it's like that because they have one comic where there's a dungeon where the characters, a strip where the characters want to go into a dungeon and they are told they can't enter the dungeon as they are. This is a special dungeon. They have to go out and get sexy armor so they can go in. And they come back wearing sexy armor and then they're allowed to go in. And then through time, you see them adapting to life in this new dungeon until at the end, they're like wearing gimp suits. You know, one of them is like, the armor must be magical because they're just buck naked and fighting. And they're like thinking back and going, gosh, can you remember before we started acting this way? And the others are like, I don't even like to think about it. Those were horrible, horrible times. Okay, you now have in For Against Darkness the opportunity to make some very, very awkward dungeons to put yourself through, depending how awkward you want to make yourself feel. Also, as well, since that heals a life point, that opens up another opportunity. They don't have a dungeon action of resting in the game For Against Darkness. But now there is. If you bang a monster, you heal a life point. Now that's any monster that offers, and let's just keep consent in there. They have to offer, they have to be intelligent. We're not going to put any SA into this. No, any bad stuff. But does that mean that if you bang anybody, you heal a life point, a hit point? And if so, does that just mean that when you hit the big O, that is what heals you? Because if that part's true, why not just make a resting action for your party where you have two of your party on watch while two of your party heals one hit point each as they bang, and when they're done, they put on watch while the others go bang, and then everybody's healed a life point. Why bother banging monsters when you can just bang each other as you go adventuring? This is a very intimately linked dungeon party, I would assume. But, oh boy, as you can tell, the author of the main book who does most of the supplements and the other people that do them are really not afraid to hit some very delicate subjects with very broad, non-delicate hammers. Thumbs up for that. Now, though, I'm going to talk about some of this stuff for here where it's, first, I'm really sad about this one thing. I went on walkies last night, and on my way up to the local Walmart, which is 3 miles away, so it's a 6-mile round trip, and I have to buy things there, so I got to go anyway. There has been a pot store. There is a pot store out there to sell you cannabis. They have had, every place I've gone to so far has had budget ounces. $30 just for an ounce of dirt weed. They're no longer going to have those. The barest minimum they're going to have is $60 for an ounce. I can barely afford what I have now, and that's bad because if I don't have cannabis for pain control, I'm going to be limited to being wheelchair bound at best, possibly bed bound. This is bad. Everything costs more And I've got to go into the local Department of Social and Health Services to try and get my medical stuff renewed. Because if I can't, that's like another $170 that I have to spend. And if I have to do that, I have rent, my medical payment, and then no more money. I won't be able to do anything like eat. So the price of cannabis going up and this little muck up going on at DSHS is making for the possibility of some very bad times, and I'm thrilled about that. So tomorrow I've got to walk to DSHS and I've got to go and talk to them and get this done because I needed to get it in on the 15th and I've been trying to call them. I hate executive dysfunction. I need a level of support that I don't have so that I can apply for a level of support that I need to be able to fill out forms to apply for the level of support that I need. So a nice little situation there. But since I can't do anything about this till Monday, okay, on the creative subject there, where I can talk about happy and friendly things like cryptids that devour screaming and terrified human beings. I have talked about before how the cryptids are shackled to us. Their entire possibility and potential is flowing right back into their faces and just not only halting but almost pushing them back on any sort of advancement they could possibly have. They are tied to our fears and dreams and hopes and nightmares and our best and our worst, and they are shackled. They are barely better than animals. They feel happy about their lives for the most part, but that's because they are unable to feel otherwise. They are basically forced to feel happy, living barely better than animals. In those few cycles, when there is not that human-centric push, when they're able to devour us as a species back around Australopithecus time, so that when they evolve intelligence, true intelligence, there's no even record that we even existed, so they have no ideas that their ancestors shared a planet for a little while with another race before they devoured that other race. But they go forth and they colonize the Milky Way galaxy, and then they continue outward with a utopia, an actual utopia, and they colonize over time 1,000 galaxies. There are other alien intelligences out there in the universe. There's only one planet that they ever find in those 1,000 galaxies that get colonized during these cycles that has cryptid energy on it. You can only detect those people and interact with those people that are cryptids if you have the vision. If your third eye has opened and you can interact with the cryptids, but your third eye will never open if you are not exposed to cryptid energy. No other planet in the entire 1,000 galaxies ever has that. No other alien race is even able to interact with the cryptids as they pour out and colonize. They are very ethical and moral beings when they are not shackled to us. They have very, very strong feelings about right and wrong, but in the end, they are still cryptids. And compared to our moral compasses, we would not see their moral compass as always pointing anywhere near true north. And they largely justify their actions by, it would not be fair for this race to be trapped within a universe that is not theirs. That when they look out at the stars, they know that they can't get there because we are there. The only moral and ethical thing that we can possibly do is to end this as quickly as possible, descend upon them, devour them all as painlessly and mercifully as possible, and then colonize their planets. They want to not harm these people in the long run, but it's amazing how being ethical and moral always seems to put a whole bunch of meat in their bellies. Huh. And as well, that's largely it for the main thoughts. I've been thinking as best I can, but it's hard to remember stuff with severe ADHD. So I've got a ton of stuff that I want to talk about, but I'm not going to remember that I didn't talk about it until I've gone out on walkies again and then go, I should have remembered to talk about that. The only thing that I can really talk about is the stuff that I've written down, and I've got a few things like, I've mentioned how the Kaiju just devours 12,000 people in Apple Rock. That's one of the big defining things that is the point of the 1 year long narrative, which is, not an actual narrative, it's a slice of life that's made up of a series of slices of life. But the Kaiju rampaging and devouring almost 13,000 people in Apple Rock is the big defining moment. It is everybody on the razor's edge afterward is accepting the inevitability that these things happen and overcoming challenges by surviving, continuing to live, and rebuilding. The Kaiju is very, very devious and did not have to do things the way that it did. One of the things that happens is it manipulates the King in Crimson and the Crimson Kingdom. When they first discovered quantum mechanics and quantum entanglement and how to keep things connected no matter how far away they are because of quantum entanglement, this is what is necessary for their mobile cellular technology to work at distances over layers and then between universes, even when they pass through the razor's edge in from the inside, razor's edge outside, phones still work because of the quantum entanglement. When they first were working on all this, there were many, many, many series of boosters that they use. These boosters help connect and keep the system going because passing between universes can make the connection tenuous. So putting boosters on the inside, on the razor's edge, on the outside helps keep those connections strong and the phones are working. One of the obsolete ones that has a bad issue of if it gets destroyed in a certain fashion, the pulse that comes out of it knocks out people's abilities to use and access glamours. So wherever they would happen to be, if this thing explodes or is damaged or destroyed in a certain fashion, nobody can leave, nobody can get help for well over a day. What these towers, as soon as this is discovered, are quickly being replaced. Except one of them was put up in Apple Rock, and they hadn't originally planned on putting it in Apple Rock, but the King in Crimson is manipulated into putting it there instead of the original place. And when the places start exploding in Apple Rock, of course the Kaiju makes sure that booster gets taken out in such a fashion that, boom, 36 hours, no one can get in or out of the entire Apple Rock area. After that is when they show up and everyone's picking up the pieces and going, oh my God, because the Kaiju blew the place up and ate almost 13,000 people. And it's then that the Kaiju actually reveals to the king how they were manipulated. They get to see video files of themselves going, well, we wanted to put this thing in Tenasket Valley, and we're going to put this in Apple Rock. So, on to the next order of business. They were directly manipulated in such a fashion you can just see all the life drain out of them and everybody else in the room. And then once the decision is made, they all come back. Everybody remembers that, but they don't remember it happening the way it really did. They were manipulated. And it's all so that the kaiju can just entertain itself by doing a mild, a quick game of Fortnite between doing fast things. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments on my community tab. Going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count American Sign Language, so let me call it my Chrome. I hate that browser, but still. We have Chris, thumbs up and thank you very, very much. I enjoy Minecraft. It is a great game. Floramu, thumbs up, and oh boy, heat regulation is fun. And then there's JAYY, I sure hope so. And Marquis de Lafayette, who has a very, very sad story, but has lived through it. And that makes it not sad at all. Jesse Koskinen, always good to see you, and thank you very, very much. Always good to see you, thumbs up and thank you. Confused Al 29, I can't take Nikocado Avocado's annoying persona when he does that. It just annoys the snot out of me. But when he was not acting like that, when he was just being a person, it was the difference between night and day. EW, thumbs up and thank you. And it's so weird because Minecraft, I have to really fight with it and it barely works, but I was playing the Kingdom of Amalur Re-Reckoning, the new one that came, the remastered thing that came out in 2020. I've got it on Ultra and it is just smooth. It plays good. I grew up in a time when if you hit 30 frames a second on any game, that was like unbelievable. So I don't mind games that run at 30 frames per second. So when I call it smooth, it can be anywhere between 30 and 40 frames per second. And for me, that looks good. But yeah, things like Kingdoms of Amalur, they're buttery smooth. And Minecraft just chugs. So it's weird. But thumbs up and hopefully I'll hear from you. Adrian XJG, always good to see you in the comments. Definitely a thumbs up. And snow is wonderful, except when you have to drive in it. We have Robo Plays, thumbs up, thank you very much. And yeah. Shinra, greatly appreciated. I'm still working and tweaking the settings, trying to get Minecraft to run better. I was playing it again last night. Now I think I got it so it might be better for next one. We're here's hoping. And then we have young_ALK, greatly appreciated, thumbs up, thank you. Noah Geneve Brown, I know I'm nowhere close with the pronunciation, but thumbs up, thank you much. And I had a day, and that's a good thing. And then we have, keep on scrolling, and that is it. 12 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. Thumbs up, thank you. It is greatly appreciated. You get me out of my head, into the world, dealing with real people, if only a text, and if only for a short time. And that is greatly appreciated. Thumbs up and thank you. Well, Hokey Smokes, it's still Sunday, and I want to record the very first D100 dungeon adventure today. So hopefully I'll get that done, and then I can also like maybe walk to Walmart early or walk to another one of the cannabis stores, and then later on tonight do my actual real walkie. So yay, we'll see what happens. Hopefully you can get done the things that you want to get done, but hopefully what you want to get done is just to relax. So thumbs up on that. And of course, if you have to go out amongst people, and according to your situation, if things are bad, just please take appropriate precautions. You don't need to get sick, you don't need to get hurt. And of course, if you do hear the mournful howl of that bus, the bus with your name on it, you hear that horn a-blaring through the fog, well, I mean, you are gonna die, but hopefully it won't hurt when that bus hits you and smears your corpse across the landscape. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing.